This episode of the Wayang Crew podcast is brought to you by Times Cineplex. Hey, welcome back yet again to another episode of the Wayang Crew podcast. It's me, Kevin, as usual, on this mic, speaking to you about all things movies. First up, it's my co-host, it's Del.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
Good.
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday, and it's a very calm,
Serene
kind of weekend because we've entered into the fasting month
here in Brunei. Yeah.
Yep. It's kind of quiet outside.
Everything's taken down just like by a notch, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you? Our next panelist, it's Nikkei.
Hello.
What's up?
Nothing's up. It's just a very
Like as Del
slow,
said.
yeah. It's a slow Sunday. It is a slow Sunday.
This is gonna be a recurring thing. Let's see if the next guest, next co-host feels the same way. It's Naz. Welcome back.
Hi, what's up?
What's up?
Yes.
It is a fasting month.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our next co-host. It's Afif.
Oh, hey.
What's up? You're fasting.
I'm fasting.
All right.
Yeah, it's a very nice Sunday.
Nice Sunday.
I like it.
How's the first week of fasting been for you?
It's a bit challenging, but we adapt. Yeah.
Like getting to the groove of it is, it's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
One would say, yeah.
Okay, because you're right. You get back into it after a couple days. All right. This week we are giving you a review of Detective Pikachu, which is the Pokemon movie, which may be the very first video game movie adaptation which is actually good.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Tomb Raider?
A lot of things.
You're the only one, Del.
Yeah.
But let's get to the first bit of the show, which is the news. There were a couple of trailers that dropped this week. First up, we got a good trailer, I have to say, for Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, this is the second trailer that we got, and we even got Tom Holland in beginning, warning us, like, if you haven't watched Endgame, don't watch this, because there's a lot of spoilers in this. So look away or go away and watch Endgame before watching this trailer. This one
Sounds Aussie.
What, mate?
Don't look over here, mate. Anyway, I saw this trailer and I thought this is actually a really good trailer because it doesn't show a lot of the plot. Like, this is a first for, I guess, the Spider-Man movies, because the last movie, which was Spider-Man Homecoming, we essentially got the whole movie in that short trailer. This, it doesn't tell you everything. It sets up the movie. We see Mysterio, although he says that he's from another dimension and Nick Fury believes him, but we don't know.
I don't believe him.
Yeah. He's an illusionist.
Because in the comics, what is he in the comics?
He's a good liar.
So what exactly do you mean when you say he's a good liar?
What it means.
Okay, but this is straight from the comics, right?
Yeah. He's a good performance artist.
Because his origin is that he's a visual effects or special effects guy who turns to a life of crime and he deceives
people. Yes.
People. Okay,
With
so this whole thing could just be like a ruse.
Exactly.
Could be.
So everything we see in this trailer could be fake.
Yes, because what Afif stated yesterday with me.
I mean,
what all those illusions.
The villains.
Yeah, all those villains
could have come
be...
up with it. It's just from him.
Okay.
Probably.
But then in this other clip that was circulating the internet, he does mention that the MCU is in Earth 616.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is straight from the comics.
Yes.
Because our Earth is apparently 616.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we get all the different dimensions. Are we still excited to watch this movie?
I'm excited.
I'm excited. I mean, I thought I had it with Marvel movies, but this made me want to watch more.
So they've done their job.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, after Endgame, like I felt like there's no motivation at all left in the MCU, but since this new trailer came out with direct connection, like a connective tissue to Endgame, and it's brought me back, and I want to see what happens after the snap, because I believe that it will be a very good twist if he is as we see him in this trailer.
I'm curious of Jake Gyllenhaal as whatever he would be, a villain or not.
Yeah, like a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because we've never seen him as a villain.
Not
yes, we
we
have.
have Nightcrawler.
Well, okay, but that's not really a villain. That's more like a seedy guy.
Psychopath,
Yeah.
sociopath.
But not in like a comic book franchise kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it used to have, I don't know whether is it true, like rumors that they're trying to get him, like the DC trying to cast him in any of the DC stuff, and then now he's in Marvel. Yeah, so I'm really curious about him.
Yeah.
In his performance.
Because he's proven himself to be an exceptional actor.
Yeah.
He has a wide range in his acting abilities. We just to add one more cherry on top, let's see him as a villain.
Yeah.
In a Marvel movie.
In a suit.
In a suit. Yeah, it kind of looks like
In
an
a
Iron Man
fishbowl.
suit.
Yeah.
Iron Man / Doctor
yeah.
Strange suit. No?
Speaking of Iron Man, we see
Spoilers,
Spidey.
spoilers.
Oh yeah, no, we see Spidey like triggering around with holograms.
On his arm,
On his
and
arm,
he's
yeah.
also seen to wear Tony Stark's
Yeah,
glasses.
Glasses, yeah.
And he looks like amazed and shocked at what he sees. Obviously, we don't see what he sees. Not
Yeah.
yet.
It's an X-ray glasses.
I would be shocked.
Whoa, Zendaya.
Could be anything. That's coming out in July. Very excited for that. We also got a trailer this week for It Chapter 2. It's the continuation of the It movie that came out 2 years ago, which is a Stephen King adaptation. This actually looks really scary.
Yeah.
As if the first one wasn't scary enough.
Yeah.
This ups the ante, and it's, I think, a good rounding out of the first movie. Because we see the cast, they're all back. They've all grown up. Yeah, what do you guys think of this trailer?
It's a really nice little clip in the beginning, which is like a minute and a half or 2 minutes
Of
just one sequence, one scene, and it looks really delicious, scary.
Delicious and
Like,
scary.
Okay.
It's
sound like
it's
the old
not
lady.
it's not scary. I didn't find it like scary, but it's more like kind of very
Suspenseful.
Yeah, suspenseful.
yeah, but also like delicious, like something that's enticing that I want to see more of.
Okay.
So this trailer really did its job.
So what you're saying is this trailer like managed to tease you and like whet your appetite, and you just want to see more.
yeah.
And it's so bad that we're saying this, in front of
exactly.
someone who's fasting.
Right.
I just had lunch.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for telling me that.
Anyway, this movie, I mean, I like the first movie. Just like Del, I'm very intrigued to see where this movie takes us and the continuation of the It saga.
This is the final movie, Kev.
Yeah, this is, okay, the final
It's,
movie. So the
yeah.
It duality.
It's just a sequel.
Just go with me, man. Speaking of sequels, we heard over the last week that Disney put out their slate of movies that are coming out over the next couple of years. We're not going to touch very much on that. We're more interested in this, and it's Marvel's plans for Phase 4. Now, the news out there is that they intend to announce some big things this summer, and it's probably going to be done at Comic-Con because they are going to be having a presence this year at Comic-Con. We spoke a little bit about this on the last episode of the podcast where we want to see the future of the MCU. Del is convinced that they're not going to call it Phase 4 anymore.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced.
Okay.
I'm just thinking maybe it's not going to be called Phase 4.
But the working theory now that it's, it's still being
It's still-
labeled
yeah.
Phase 4. I think I'm kind of with you. I think they should, get rid of this whole phase thing.
Yeah.
And just give us like good movies back to back. Traditionally, it's been movie, Avengers movie, and then movie, Avengers movie.
Avengers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the Avengers movie become like this end of chapter thing.
Yeah.
Which I think has been broken this time around because we got 2 back-to-back Avengers movies with one movie in between.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this is going. So they should just move on from that. But we've said this on the show. They're not going to top Avengers Endgame. But, with the characters that they do intend to introduce to the MCU, like Shang-Chi and like a Doctor Strange 2, do you think that they can maybe still...
Adam Warlock.
As long as Kevin Feige is in charge, I have no problem with it.
That's true.
If I don't know, if Kevin Feige says like, that's it, my job is done, then
Oh, no.
I'll probably get a bit nervous on what's gonna happen.
I will be more excited when they do the announcement, whether it's at Comic-Con or D23, that final date in 2022 or 2023?
23.
23, right?
Yep.
The last date would be Avengers 5. That will get me excited as well.
Okay, but will the next movie be Avengers 5? Is Endgame considered an Avengers 4?
I don't see why not.
Because to me, it's like a
Part
three
2.
Avengers 3A and 3B.
It's
kind of
it's
thing.
gonna be confusing if you're gonna mess it up like that. Let's just go with Avengers 5.
Okay, fine. I'll concede and say it's the fifth Avengers
Yeah,
movie.
it's the fifth Avengers movie.
Yes.
It's gonna have a subtitle, Avengers something.
Yes.
Like, Age of Ultron, Endgame and all that.
Infinity War.
Yeah, so next one, let's see what it is.
All right, let's see what this is. And there are some rumors about the potential plot details of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, this comes from Roger Wardwell, who has a history of like putting out theories and certain bits of information regarding Marvel movies. Now, he has a higher success rate than failure rate. I don't know what the percentage is, but some of the things that he said in the past have come true. And he says these things about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Rocket's creator is the High Evolutionary. I don't know what that is. Drax is in for a big surprise when he discovers his daughter is alive.
What?
Rocket also gets a love interest in the form of Lilia.
What?
Okay.
I don't know who Lilia
Like
is.
another.
Yeah,
A raccoon?
No, a rabbit?
Nebula
Maybe.
and Nebula and Star-Lord will grow into closer friends. So these are things that he said about what might happen in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I don't know where he's getting this information from. It could be just all theories from him, or he might have like a solid line into the writer's room. I don't know. But what intrigues me is that Rocket also gets a love interest in the form of Lilia. I'm not sure who Lilia is.
Sounds like a flower.
Is this going to be a Pepe Le Pew kind of situation?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're so beautiful.
Sounds like Rocket.
But I don't know. Do you think that any of this is plausible?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Really?
I think it's. Wait. This is for Guardians 3. So they're planning to release the Eternals before Guardians 3. Oh, it's an otter. Lily is an otter.
So Lilia is in the comics.
Yeah.
I mean, Afif just very quickly looked it up.
Yeah.
And okay,
Or
so
did somebody just quickly did a rendition of
could be.
Lilia?
that would be the best love story I've ever seen
so
between a
weird.
raccoon and an otter.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
And then their kids would be rotters.
Okay.
Or coons.
Or coons. Sure, whatever. I mean, I can't wait for Guardians Volume 3, but that's only going to start production next year in 2020 after James Gunn is done with Suicide Squad 2. Avengers Endgame has managed to topple the number 2
Yes.
all-time box office gross. And they've upset James Cameron. He no longer holds the first 2 places. The first place is still Avatar,
yeah.
although for how long we're not sure. And Avengers Endgame has slid into the number 2 spot. And James Cameron has saluted Marvel with this. He put out a tweet saying to Kevin and the guys, you guys did a fantastic job, yada yada yada. Do you think Avengers Endgame will get the number 1 box office of all time spot?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
Because
not?
Why not?
These are very unconvincing answers.
it's still early.
Yeah, we still have a long way to go.
What is the box office take after this weekend?
The box office as of right now, I just checked before we hit record, is somewhere in the region of $2.3 billion.
2.3, so that's another 400 to go.
To reach 2.7.
Yeah, it's no easy feat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
but,
unless they have extended.
It took
Showtimes.
Avatar more than a month to reach that
More than a month.
figure.
No, I think it was definitely more than a month because
Yeah.
it had a couple of runs. It had like the main run, and then there was some special runs where they had it in IMAX 3D,
Yes.
and then there
Yeah.
was like a rerun. Just to put it into perspective, what Endgame has done over 2 weeks, which is to slide into the number 2 spot, previously held by Titanic. Titanic took 9 months to do that.
Whoa.
Was there a time where movies were in cinemas for 9 months?
I think there was a
For
second rerun.
Titanic, it was because it was so popular. Like it wasn't like where everyone came in and watched the opening week.
Yeah.
It is like a lot of like word of mouth kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it got so popular that a lot of people kept like the demand was high, so they continue running
So
it.
they just kept it in
yeah.
theaters.
But
Okay.
also, I don't think it was 9 months straight because
Yeah.
they re-released it as 3D, and that was another month. I
No, the 3D
contributed
was
to
years.
yeah years later.
But that would still contribute to the
Oh
overall.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was just in 1 year. It was like first
Yeah.
show, then second showing, and then
So if
another.
yeah, I believe that's how it goes. But and then if Endgame doesn't take the number 1 spot, doesn't take over Avatar by the end of this run, they could re-release it next year, and then
Yeah,
put it into the and see if it can catch up.
Just keep racking up as they go along. Another thing I want to say is that maybe the other reason why they say it took 9 months to get there is kind of because when Titanic came out, which was about 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think 20 years.
Maybe 20,
yeah.
So about 20 years ago, in Brunei, we were getting movies really slow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
3-4 months
So
after the release.
Very slow.
Is it a case of that, where the movie just took a lot of time to go around the world?
I think that's a valid
Yeah.
point because in
Yeah.
Thailand, movies they only show in the cinema 1 year later of it released.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was back in the days, the 90s.
And I remember as a kid watching Jurassic Park, the first movie, in the cinema during my December holidays
Yeah.
in
Oh.
in Philippines.
Right.
And that was 1994. And it only came to Brunei sometime in 95.
95, yeah.
Like maybe 9 months to a year after that.
Wow. Pretty long time.
Yeah.
I mean, things were very slow back then.
yeah.
It could be very possibly
Yeah.
that's why the 9-month things, because the figure is worldwide, right? It's a worldwide box office figure. So
Yes.
yeah, it could possibly because of that.
So just to wait for markets to open up and close, the respective runs. That's probably why it took 9 months. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is, does Endgame have a chance of beating Avatar? I say yes, although Kai will say no. I think we're split in this room.
I say yeah.
I
say
say
yes?
I would want it to be.
You want it
Yeah,
to be
I want it to.
Dell?
It will. It will.
It will.
I'm convinced it will.
You are convinced it will.
I think it's easily will, like, especially if it reached very close to Avatar's figures and all the fans were like, we need to
Yeah,
beat
push
this.
it.
Like, they have
Yeah.
this motivation
Hashtag
to...
beat Avatar.
Yeah, like, people these days will come out with something like that.
That is true. We already see that in the YouTube space with PewDiePie and this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they have this subscriber war. Anyway, back to movie news. Avengers Endgame. Now, the writers were asked a question on whether or not the snap could have created mutants, which is a way they could introduce the X-Men universe into the MCU. They've come out and said, well, it would be nice, but no.
No, because you can't change the present by going to the past.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these questions arose because of the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, where it is said in the trailer that Mysterio came through a portal which was ripped because of the snap, and the villains from his universe
Yeah.
are in our universe. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, that's more plausible because it's like the stones don't exist in this realm anymore. So that could have ripped and created this wormhole.
Now, regarding that, which is the question of whether or not the Infinity Stones still exist
Yeah.
in the universe, now the Russo brothers have come out and said that technically the stones still exist
Yeah.
in the MCU. Because the choice of words that Thanos used when he said that I destroyed the stones
Yeah.
down to atoms. So in essence, they're
They're
still
still- yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And if someone can come up with like an atom reassembler, they could get back the stones, maybe.
Actually, yeah, they could because Tony made a new element in the second movie. So
There you go. So
he could
anything's
still have the
possible in
tech for
MCU,
it, yeah.
right?
Ant-Man can shrink down to atom size.
Yeah.
There you go. So he can start picking
Yeah.
variables one by one.
Hey guys, I got one.
This is 1 out of a billion. New Mutants, which is a movie that Dell was very, very looking forward to for 2018, which was pushed to 2019. It has now settled on a 2020 release date.
Whoa.
Are you excited for this? Are
Yes.
you still excited?
Yes, I
Very
am.
excited.
I don't know why, but they may do some reshoot, so this will give them time. And if they don't, just release the director's cut, which I'm sure it's fine.
But if you think about it, most of the actors who are in New Mutants are teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's a teenager-centric story. This was shot back in like 2017.
Sure, they'll just use the Marvel technology to de-age them a little
No,
bit.
re-age.
De-age?
I mean,
No, you gotta de-age
fast
because,
age.
because if they reshoot now, they would have to look younger.
Well, where I was coming from is that, for example, like Maisie Williams is in this movie, right? She's grown a lot in the last 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
If this is coming out next year, which is in April 2020, she's gonna look a little bit different from the movie.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's because the movie is the movie and reality is a different thing.
Okay.
Which kind of reminds me of the red carpet premiere for Avengers Endgame. Did you guys see Morgan Stark, like the actress
Yeah,
who
I
played
know, I
the
saw.
kid? She's not that little kid anymore.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
grew.
she
She's like
grew.
7 years old now. She
Oh.
was 5 when they shot it,
Yeah.
Okay.
and she's like a talking actress now. She was.
She can talk now.
No, as in like
Yeah, I know.
properly talking.
Yeah.
She can answer
She
questions.
couldn't talk back at what?
I
5
mean-
years old? She can't talk.
No, like her enunciation was
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
Now
Oh
it's
no,
like,
that was just acting.
okay.
Okay, so we finally have an answer, and apparently New Mutants is coming out in April 2020. Anyone here excited for a Gambit movie?
I am.
You are?
Nope.
Too bad for you,
Nope.
it's been cancelled.
Best
really?
news ever.
It is no longer on Disney's schedule. Now, this is because Disney bought over Fox, and it was on Fox's slate. It has now been officially dropped. So this movie is not happening. I'm so sorry, Naz, and
Oh.
I'm also very sorry to Channing Tatum.
I'm so happy.
Yes, we've heard you and why you are not for this movie.
My name's Jeff.
What?
No, it's just Channing Tatum. I don't know.
All right. Here's something that I was not aware was happening. Hellraiser, which is a series of horror movies, started way back in the 80s. Apparently, it's got the highest number of movies of any horror franchise. It's getting a reboot.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, who's the director first?
We don't know who the director is, but the screenplay is being written by David S. Goyer, who wrote, among other
Batman
things,
v Superman.
the Dark Knight trilogy, not Batman vs Superman,
Oh.
Sorry.
and the Blade trilogy. So this guy can write. Although the third movie is something I'm not really sure, which is The Dark Knight Rises.
I'm more interested in Channing Tatum's Gambit than this one.
Oh, that's horrible. That is horrible. Has anyone seen
Yes.
Yeah, I think my
Yes.
parents used to watch it.
your parents?
Yeah, and I got very
Pinhead.
creeped out by it. Like, super creeped out.
Pinhead is one of the creepiest.
Yeah.
Why would
Character.
one make that?
I've seen like clips from the movies. I've never watched the whole movie though. 'cause
Yeah, same.
As a kid, it always scared me, and it's something that I never went back to revisit.
I watched the whole movie. I was traumatized.
Who wouldn't be?
Whoa.
But if you watch it now, you won't be because of the effect. It's not as realistic as
It-
what we see
mean,
now.
it-
But back then, it's just.
Yeah, it reminds me of Poltergeist a
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I rewatched it and I regretted it.
The first one.
Yeah.
Poltergeist is still quite
I
scary.
mean, I like it.
I watched it as a kid as well, and I was very very scared. And then
Yeah.
and then like when I was in uni, and then my friend was like asking me like, "Oh, what's the scariest movie? Let's watch it." And I was like, "Oh, let's watch Poltergeist," and then I regretted it because the effect was so bad. I was like, "Okay, it's not scary."
Okay, so it's not scary. It says it's scarily bad effects.
Yes,
Yeah.
but then like watching back then, it was really scary. Like
Yeah.
it seemed real. It
Okay.
seemed real.
You remember when we were kids? I don't know about you guys, but me and Del in particular, if we stayed up late to watch TV, there would come a time where it was 10:30, 11 o'clock, and the programs would just end.
Yeah.
And you get this test screen
Oh, yeah.
of like RTB or Television Malaysia. And then after a certain time, like midnight, it would just be static.
Yeah.
Have you ever fallen asleep as a kid and then woken up at like 1 o'clock and like look at the screen and it's static? And I think to yourself,
No idea
is,
what you're talking
Is this a poltergeist thing?
I did.
yeah,
I did. When that and it goes to song. Oh my goodness. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's something that I want to ask you guys. Are you interested in a possible Matrix 4?
No.
No.
I'm not open to
That
like,
was a
new-
very quick answer. The director of John Wick, which is a guy named Chad Stahelski. Now he says that the Wachowskis apparently are interested to come back and do a fourth Matrix movie.
I'll believe it when the Wachowskis say that themselves.
Okay.
Not through
Wachowski sisters.
Stahelski.
Not through someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, Wachowski sisters now?
Yes. Officially, they're the Wachowski sisters.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a good feeling about this.
I think the time has come and gone.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
back then.
They missed the chance, I think.
Because for me, the best movie was the first one.
Yes.
And then when the second one, when Reloaded came out, it got
It
really
was,
bad.
yeah.
And then when it got to Resurrection, it became like a what is happening?
Yeah,
Don't
I'm there
understand
for the
this.
fight scenes only.
There you go.
It's not called Resurrection.
What is
Is
it?
it? Resurrection?
Revolution.
Sorry, Revolution. Why did
I
I
was
say
thinking, who's getting resurrected?
Neo?
Neo.
No, he's a battery. How do you resurrect a battery?
You recharge it.
Yeah, exactly. Matrix Recharge.
Alright, so that's the fourth movie. Very
No,
good.
forget it.
No, don't give
it's
them any ideas,
It's
please.
too late. I think Matrix for its time was one of the best sci-fi movies, but it was only for the first movie because the second and third one was just it got out of hand. I think it got bigger than what the writers could have done with it. So I think if they want to do a remake, maybe. But if they want to go for the fourth one, where do you go from after the third one? You've already found the architect.
And Neo, who's an anomaly, is no longer there.
Yeah.
He's gone. Speaking of reboots, did you guys know that the first actor that they tapped was not Keanu Reeves?
Will Smith.
It was Will Smith.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He was asked to do it and he went, I don't get this. So I'm like, no. It would have been interesting though.
But he did the smart choice because he turned it down to film I Am Legend, which was amazing.
That's
Well,
true.
depends who you ask. All right, let's end it on this bit of news. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, which is a movie that is actually coming out. I mean, it was something that I didn't want to believe, but I saw the first trailer and then the second trailer, and I said, you know what? This actually looks like fun. The producer has been fired by Universal. Now, it's a guy named Neil Moritz, and he's been one of the producers ever since the very first Fast and Furious movies. And he says that he has like rights as a producer for any spin-off from that universe. And Universal said no, and they fired him. So like, does this mean that it will end there and there's not going to be any more?
No, they fired him so that they can make more movies without him. So that they don't have to keep paying him. Because he's not doing anything since the few previous ones, I guess.
Yeah, he's just
so
been
he's
taking a back
taking,
seat.
but then he's taking money. Still getting paid for movies that he's
Not involved in.
yeah.
But he was there at the beginning.
You know, I was at the beginning of where am I going with this? Where am I going with this? I was at the no, doesn't work. Never mind. Edit this out. Forget it.
All right, I'm going to edit this. All right, so that's the news this week on the Wayang Crew podcast. Get in touch with us here on the show at our contact links in the description down below, which brings us to our next bit of the show, which is our review of Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I watched this yesterday. We all watched it.
Yeah.
I have to say that I thoroughly enjoyed this Pokemon movie, and it's something that I did not expect to enjoy. I thought I was going to go in there and be lost and not be bothered with the characters, because in Pokemon, like the previous animated movies,
Yeah.
like the characters are secondary. You're there to see the Pokemon.
Yeah.
But they managed to do something different in this movie by highlighting the human characters. And the Pokemon kind of, I wouldn't say take a back seat, but they supplement the human characters and help to drive the story forward, which is nice. And, you know, it's always nice to hear Ryan Reynolds' voice, even when it's coming out of a cute, furry yellow Pikachu. Let's see what you guys think, Del.
Before all the praises come in for this movie, let me be the voice of reason once again. This movie has no story. There isn't like a proper story that you go in from the beginning and then there's a middle and then there's an end. It doesn't really have that. It's just plot to plot to plot, and then you throw in all the Pokemon. It was cute for the first half, but then after that it just got tiring because also the plot just got crazy and pointless and nonsensical. So it's enjoyable in the beginning, and then you hear Ryan Reynolds' voice coming out of Pokemon, and it's cute and he's funny. What I wanted to see also was like a good Pokemon battle, or more of the throwing the ball to catch. I'm not a Pokemon fan, so obviously I don't know what the correct terms are, but yeah, it's not as entertaining as I thought it would be from the beginning.
Okay, you know, going back to you're not a Pokemon fan by any means.
No.
All right, so you're like me, like on the same page. I know what Pokemon are, but I'm not exactly a fan. All right, Nikkei.
I don't like the plot and the story, but I just love the Pokemon.
So just the cute stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching the anime series, and my brother make me play the Pokemon card with him.
Don't lie.
Are you sure your brother made you?
Well, I don't think he made you.
I mean, made you do play the game.
Yeah, but I don't like the human part of the whole movie, especially one particular actress.
Okay, we'll get into that later on
Yeah.
when we talk spoilers. Naz.
I liked the movie. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I particularly like the beginning and when they introduced Rhyme City, and then there were like these short sequences of like showing Pokemon and people living with Pokemon, and how in Rhyme they don't battle,
Yeah.
but in outside of Rhyme there's all these battles and like the world championships. I loved the glimpse of a particular character that we've known since 1996, I guess, from the games.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the Pokemon bits. The human bits were okay, but I really loved it when there were Pokemon in the scenes.
Okay. And finally, Afif.
I thought the movie was just okay. I mean, it is quite enjoyable, and I kind of think that the movie is more directed towards people of younger age. It feels like I'm only there watching for my childhood, like
Yeah.
being brought up back to life
Okay.
Yeah.
on the screen. But other than that, again, coming back to the plot, it's pretty simplified, I would say. I mean, it's predictable.
Yeah, but then
But-
it's a game from a game.
Again, yeah, and it's based on the game
real
itself.
game, yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah,
Like they actually use the plot.
the
for
Detective Pikachu
Yeah,
game.
on the 3DS.
Yeah, but like simplified.
Which I never played, but so I don't really have any point
Yeah.
to say on that. But I do enjoy it, but it's just okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is taking a bad turn because
I mean, I think
it seems I'm the only one who can.
I love
no.
it.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
It'll come later, but you will see my reasons.
Yeah, I'm asking myself now. Am I late on the
No,
on the
no.
Pokemon train? Okay, going back to what I said. Like previously, when we saw video game movies, the characters were very one-dimensional. There was not a lot of growth for them.
Yeah.
This, for me, because we see the main protagonist, which is
Yeah.
what's his name now? I can't
Justin
remember.
Smith.
just
No, his
Oh, in the
name
movie?
Tim.
Goodman.
Tim Goodman, yeah,
Oh,
okay.
right.
He's the lead character,
Yeah.
and we follow his story, which is that he never really knew his father,
Yeah.
and he's suddenly now lost his father, and he's trying to find out what happened to the father. And it's this Pikachu that apparently is the father's partner,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who now helps him. I don't know why, but I always get choked up, and I'm very prone to liking movies where there's like a father sort of
Yeah,
element
same
there.
here.
So that gets me. The same thing with Avengers Endgame,
Avengers, yeah.
you know, with the whole Morgan and Peter Parker thing. With Tony Stark, I'm like, oh my god, that hits me right here.
Yeah.
So that worked for me really well. When I go back and say that the acting from the human characters was better than the Pokemon, because like going back to what I established with Dell, it's like I'm not a fan at all of Pokemon. Like I don't know what these Pokemon are supposed to be like, how they're supposed to
Right.
act. Do they only just say their names because they are stupid? I don't know. Generally, I don't know. But it seems like the human characters in here, maybe it's because it's in this particular city, Rhyme City.
Yeah.
And everything's free, and we're told in the movie that they don't allow battling and Pokeballs and
Yeah, and
catching
capturing,
Pokemon
yeah.
and capturing. So it's like a different take from what we've seen in the previous anime. It's more open, and they live together.
Yeah.
So
And harmony.
having seen that, I think the human characters did better for me.
Oh. Okay.
But what Afif said, which was one particular character, and also Nikkei, she said there's one particular character that was
Annoying.
kind of annoying. We'll talk about her in a little bit. You want to move to spoilers?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go to spoilers. Let's circle back and start with Del again. Your spoiler take on Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
I don't like the movie. Is that a spoiler? The actors, the two main leads, I don't like. They don't really carry the movie for me. Especially the girl, right? She just coming out of nowhere, and her Pokemon is a Psyduck, which is like a time bomb. You don't carry a time bomb with you around. What is the point? I don't get it. So, and then she is like I don't know what her character is. Just annoying and useless. and she didn't act well in this one. I've never seen her work before, so this one being the first one, and yeah, I don't think she did it very much.
We're talking about the girl who
The
plays
girl
the
who-
intern
Lucy.
Yeah,
at
the intern, the
CNW,
reporter
CNM or
girl.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, who apparently is like on the trail of like a hot story about.
Yeah, I don't think it's her fault. I think it's the writing, the lines that she had to deliver, the jumping from plot to plot, and she has to go with it. So I think the writing is just bad. Then there's that Mewtwo. It's just so funny when there was this serious scene with Bill Nye and then he said the name of the Pokemon was one of the like most powerful Pokemon, Mewtwo. It doesn't work for me. Like you said, why are the Pokemons just calling themselves by their names? Or why are the humans not giving them pet names? Like, why is Pikachu called Pikachu? Couldn't it be something else?
And then he says Pikachu. That's all he says.
He doesn't say Pikachu because he only says Pika. So that's confusing to
He
say the
do
least.
No, he does
Pika.
says
Yes.
Pikachu.
He does?
He
Okay,
does.
Yeah.
but then he
Yeah.
says Pika as well.
Yeah.
So does Psyduck go Sai?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
They do. Sayayay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
I did not-
like
Sayayay.
the only speaking Pokemon which is not in the movie is Meowth, who speaks
Meow.
the
Yeah.
cat with
'Cause
the Team Rockets.
Yeah.
But then
Meowth.
they're not in the movie.
Oh, the bad
Movie.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad guy's cat. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, going back to what you said about Psyduck. I don't know Psyduck's abilities beforehand, but we got to see it
Yeah.
in this movie where he gets very stressed out and
Yeah.
then I think it's an EMP.
Psychic.
It's a psychic
psychic.
move.
It's a
Yeah.
psychic thing
Yeah.
and it looks like a nuclear explosion.
It's like a sonic boom or
Uh,
something.
And for something so cute to have that kind of destruction, I don't know. Like, do I want to
Yeah.
keep that as like a...
He's a burden. You have to massage him and play soothing music when you're with
But
him.
I
It's-
think he's like that in the cartoon.
In the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
He's a bit of a diva.
not
No,
not a diva.
no.
He's just very easily stressed out.
And when he gets stressed out,
And-
I mean, he usually is used for plot convenience.
Yeah.
Like he solves everything
Just
just by being.
by
by
by-
exploding.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Like they'll say the actress who played, I think her name's Lucy, the character, she took me out of the movie a lot of time because of her horrible acting. Like a few times I was like, what is going on? Like I don't like the human aspect of the whole movie. I mean I would just watch 2 hours of Pikachu dancing because the way they design the Pokemons and all that it's so amazing. It feels so real,
Real,
and
yeah.
like I wish that we have Pokemon in our life and we can see all these cute Pokemon, and I want to have my own Pokemon.
Yes.
But it's just it's so silly, and like the whole plot of Bill Nye, was it Howard Clifford,
Yeah.
his whole intention was so ridiculous that you get to be your Pokemon, but you don't get to choose. He get to choose to be in Mewtwo, but if my Pokemon is Magikarp, I don't want to be my Pokemon.
Magikarp is the fish Pokemon.
Yeah.
I just flap. Like, I don't want to be Magikarp. Like, you don't get to choose that. Like, nobody asked for it. It's so ridiculous.
Okay.
Why do that though? What's the plot? Like, what's the logic behind this plot point where he wants everyone to merge with their Pokemon?
Because he's kind of like this
Crippled,
idealist
yeah.
who
Yeah.
believes that the only way forward for human evolution
Is to evolve.
is for humans and Pokemon to sort of not just live together but combine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon can evolve, but humans, like,
Cannot.
to him,
Yeah.
comes to a point where it just stops there. That's why he wanted to merge it. I mean, I don't like the plot, but that's me explaining the plot.
Yep, it sounds ridiculous.
It is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
and-
I have to agree.
And like they have the lab thing where they had enhanced the Pokemon, became this giant and all that. Like that doesn't make sense. Like what's that for? It's for them to break up Team and Pikachu. Like what was the whole point of that whole
Well,
scene?
See, in the real world, we experiment on things, and
Right.
I'm not going to say animals because that's wrong. Apparently, we shouldn't do that. But the fact that we do experiments, there are side effects that we can't control, and if these
Yeah.
things happen, we explore how far they go or how bad they become.
Yeah.
So I think the movie sort of reflects on that, where
Yeah.
they didn't intend for those Pokemon to become huge
Torterras.
continent,
Torterras, yeah.
whatever whatever. I don't know what they
Yeah.
are. I just call them mountains.
Yeah.
But it could be a side effect. They could just be pushing the
Yeah.
boundaries of what science is.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Just to see how far they can go. Maybe.
So who's gonna merge with this one?
I-
Who's gonna
Do you
become
want to be a
gigantic-
mountain?
Yeah.
Power lifters.
No.
Yikes! All right, Naz.
I really enjoyed the Pokemon bits and the brief scene at the underground Pokemon battle arena. That was really awesome because you get to see like these Pokemons use their moves. I love the inclusion of using a potion. I think it's like what is it called?
The R,
Vial
the R
R.
potion.
It's a vial.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not a potion, but technically it's like a chemical liquid, so it's a potion. Anyway, so I love the inclusion of R. I wish they kind of related it to Team Rocket because I thought R meant like
Yeah,
Team Rocket.
we thought it meant
and
Team
it's
Rocket.
purple as well. So I love how realistic the Pokemon are. Bulbasaur looked like a dinosaur Pokemon. I don't know. Pikachu's so furry and adorable. The monkeys are annoying like real monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just loved everything about the Pokemon.
All right,
Like it's very nostalgic. So
Yeah.
yeah.
fifth.
Talking about this movie, I have to split it into two different views. One is the plot, which was really bad for me. Pokemon-wise, I salute them in making all the designs. They even call back to different the regions they have in the games.
Yeah.
Like the Kanto region where Mewtwo actually came from.
Yeah.
Or was made. I mean,
Yeah.
for us who played it back then.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, and then they even showed
Yeah, they even showed
the game character.
Red,
From
who
the
is
Game Boy?
the original Game Boy character we play.
Oh,
At-
Yeah.
Yeah, the
so-
the guy who was not in the battle, but it was just a montage clip
Yeah.
where he threw a Pokeball against someone
Yeah.
in a battle. That was really nice. He looks Asian, as he should, not a
Yeah.
white
He is
person.
Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Red is Asian.
he should be.
The
Like,
actor in the montage is
Yeah.
Asian.
yeah,
It's a
which is good.
Japanese- it's a
As
Which
it
is
Japanese-
should
good.
be.
Yeah, it shouldn't
'Cause
be
he's from
whitewashed.
Kanto.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Pokemon parts. I wish there were more battles,
Yeah.
more Pokemon scenes, more relevance to
More throwing Pokeballs.
yeah, I mean that's what Pokemon is about. It's about like you with your partner battling and being the very best.
Yeah.
Or
Like
you
no
can
one
be
ever was.
are you gonna break out into a song now?
Like Pikachu?
All right. Like I said before, I enjoyed this movie. I went in with no expectations. I'm not a
That's good.
fan.
I'm glad you do.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the series or the movies or the games. I've never played a Pokemon game, so I went in like a clean slate. And I was introduced to this world of Pokemon and humans, and it's a new take because it's not the Pokemon
Yeah.
that we know where they battle, and in this particular city it's illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of things bothered me though. Okay, this kid Tim, what's his name?
Tim Goodman.
Tim Goodman. He loses his father,
Yeah.
Right.
and he's now on a quest to find out what happened
Yeah.
to his father with the help of his father's partner, which is Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's the only one who can understand this Pokemon,
Yeah.
and I'm led to believe that this doesn't happen in this world. Like you can't understand Pokemon, but he's the only one
Yeah.
who can understand Pikachu
Yeah.
in particular. The voice that comes through Pikachu
Yeah.
is his father's, voice,
Yeah.
who we know because at the end of the movie, spoilers, because of this merging thing and whatever, it's explained that Mewtwo merged his father with Pikachu.
partner,
Yeah.
And that's how
They can talk.
Yeah, that's
because
how they can
there's,
talk,
like,
but-
a psychic link.
And it's established earlier on in the movie that he doesn't have a relationship with his father, and maybe for a couple of years he hasn't seen the father.
Yeah.
But if a cute little Pokemon was talking to me
Yeah.
and the voice that was coming out was my father's voice, it doesn't matter how many years it's been, I'll know whose voice that is.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing that took me out of this movie at the end of it. I mean,
Yeah.
I was along for the ride for the whole movie. And then at the end, when
the
we
reveal, right?
during the reveal, and we see the father's face for the first time, because in all the flashbacks throughout the movie, we don't see his
no,
face,
it's just a shadow figure.
a shadow figure, and it's it's Ryan Reynolds, and you're like, okay,
My
I think that's-
first thought was like, he's half white. Okay.
well, yeah, but then again, is there an explanation for that? Do you guys have any theories as to why? I mean,
maybe his. I don't know. Maybe because like I don't know.
Just doesn't
For
make
convenience,
sense.
they just wanted Ryan Reynolds to be the voice of Pikachu.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they had to tie it in like at the end.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like the last bit of it, especially the final couple of minutes,
Yeah.
the final 10 minutes, was kind of pieced together very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so then it's this guy and he wants to merge everyone with Pokemon, and his consciousness is now in Mewtwo and
Yeah.
and and we circle back and his father is actually in Pikachu. I'm like, what? There had to be a better explanation than that. But apart from that, I enjoyed the movie. With that, let's give our ratings for the movie.
Right.
Let's go back to Del. What do you give this movie?
3.5 Psyduck out of 10.
Psyduck.
Five
Bloody
Psyduck.
Psyducks.
Here's the thing though, there's a scene in this movie where he just says Psyduck, Psyduck, Psyduck.
yeah.
But when he's panicked and running, he's screaming duck, 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 duck. And I heard another letter word in front of that. I was like, wait, he's saying duck, but I think they meant
Yeah.
something else.
Nice.
All right, Nikkei, your ratings for Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
I'm giving it 4 Ditto.
4 dittos.
Yes,
Oh, they're
4
terrible
Ditto.
Pokemon.
4. So we got 3.5, we
Yeah.
got 4. Naz,
I give it a 7 Mewtwo.
7. That's quite high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but for the story, I give it a 5.
No.
No, I mean like for the overall part, because of the Pokemon, they carried the movie. I
Yeah.
give it a 7 Mewtwo.
7.
But for the story, I give it a 5 Torterras.
5 big tortillas.
All right. So 7, 5 in the
Yeah.
middle, 6. Okay. Afif.
Okay, it might sound generous, but I gave it a 6.5 Pokeballs. Yeah.
6.5 Pokeballs?
I mean, only because the Pokemon made
Carried, yeah.
carried the movie. I would
okay.
say.
I'm gonna give this movie a obviously 5 Pikachus because I think it's an okay movie, and I enjoyed myself for what it was on face value. I don't know very much about the Pokemon story or the lore or the movies or the games or the card games, whatever came before this. I'm not very sure of, but this movie surprised me because it was easy enough to get into that world without having a lot of exposition and explanation as to what these things are. And you sort of like, okay, we're in this world now. I believe it. So it is still showing in local cinemas. Do catch it. That's our review of Pokemon Detective Pikachu, which leads us to our next bit of the show, which is...
Oi, apa liat-liat? Apa liat-liat? Hoi, 看什么看？ apa liat-liat? Apa liat-liat?
你看什么看？
apa liat-liat? See what see? 笑了。
Yep, that's right. It is called Apa Liat Liat, and it's what else we have been watching besides Pokemon Detective Pikachu. First up, we have Del.
I've finished season 4 of Better Call Saul, which is getting very close now to the end of this series. I think the next one will be the final one, and they are tying it into
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. They are tying into Breaking Bad.
Wow, it is Sunday, huh?
Yeah. So but I really enjoyed this series ever since the beginning, and this third one is no different. Really like the characters in this one. If you've seen Breaking Bad, you could go into this one.
Very easily.
Yeah, at the beginning, like Breaking Bad is a bit slow, but then once you get into the characters, especially the character Saul played by Bob Odenkirk, and he is really good. Yeah, I really like how things are now coming together to the beginning of Breaking Bad.
Okay. Nikkei, apa liat?
I just watched the front runner, Hugh Jackman, Gary Hart,
Yeah.
the running.
The one about the election and...
Yes. I'm surprised that it did not get any Oscar buzz on this movie. It's really well directed. The performances are all really good. Hugh Jackman, Vera Farmiga. It was really good. Like, especially the directing was really good. There has a lot of like long unedited cuts. Like it just shows, and the way they tell the story, it actually makes you wonder, like, what if he actually continue run for his campaign and be president instead of Bush Senior? What would America be? Because he's such an idealist man. He sees the future, and he was the one who predicted that terrorists gonna attack before September 11.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a movie that makes, like, after you watch, you just wonder, like, what would it be? And you start thinking about it. Like,
Yeah, like what could have happened.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw a trailer for that, and this is based on a true story.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gary Hart. Yeah.
So it's a wonder why it's not nominated for anything.
I think it's because
Okay.
of Lady Gaga.
Well,
Took all the media away.
Kai will disagree with you, but anyway, let's move on to Naz. Apa lihat?
I just finished watching Phase 1 of MCU's movies.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm just taking a break because all the feels. Like, after watching Endgame, every little thing they say, that ties back to the whole MCU universe, you're just like, oh my god, why?
So I can imagine you at the end of the first Iron Man movie, and he goes, "I am Iron Man." You go,
yeah, accurate. Even in Captain America, the first Avenger, I'm just like, oh my god. Okay, I can see why Kai cried. Yeah. And then I watched this really annoying teen rom-com thing called The Perfect Date, featuring
Date.
Noah Centineo. So he makes like a dating / chaperoning app so that he can get to an Ivy League university.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then basically like people ask him to become like their dates, and then they give him like all the characteristics they want for him to be. So he can either like be a test date or like a fake date, so that he goes to someone's parents and pretends to be the worst date ever so that they can accept the girl's actual boyfriend.
okay.
Things like that.
In a nutshell, it's like that Zalora coming up with this
Yeah.
service
Lazada.
for Lazada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Leng Zai Ang Bao.
Boyfriends for hire.
Yeah, boyfriend's right. Yeah, that's him.
But in this case, he comes up and be the worst boyfriend than your real boyfriend.
Actually, he can be anything.
Oh, he can be anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
anything. So
I should check that out.
yeah, no, yeah, okay.
Just check it
do
out
it for
for-
him maybe, but like the rest of the cast were like okay.
Okay. Finally, Afif, apa lihat?
I watched, right after Detective Pikachu, I sat down with Naz to watch Pokemon Origin.
Yeah.
Yeah, which...
What is that?
It's an anime,
Okay.
which it's only 4 episodes, which the main character is you, the Game Boy you.
Okay.
So it exactly does whatever you did in the games, exactly
Yeah.
on point. To fighting the gym leaders, they say the same lines as they did in the games.
In the
Okay.
game.
And until he collected 150 Pokemon.
Yeah,
And
including Mewtwo.
including Mewtwo.
Yeah.
Is it in like 8-bit format?
No,
It's in anime format.
It's animated.
Yeah.
It's
anime.
very well done, actually.
I'm imagining it
I mean-
in a Game Boy 8-bit.
No, and then
Flip, 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 flip,
and
flip.
then
No, I wouldn't watch that.
they use the same music
Yeah, they use a remastered version
Yeah.
of the music.
from the Game Boy game.
Yeah, and they actually show how a real battle would look like
Yeah.
instead of like, playing the JRPG.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're on a Pokemon train right now.
Yeah, I mean, I want
Alright.
to relive back my childhood memories.
Are you playing the MTM song on repeat?
Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
guilty as charged.
All right. Finally, me. I finished watching Sabrina.
Finished it.
I finished it, and it's actually really good.
That end twist.
That end twist, though. Wow.
So good.
Okay.
But it's funny because his name, Nick Scratch, actually means devil. Because Old Nick and Old Scratch means the devil.
You're right.
So they combined it.
I did
to
not
Nick
pick that up.
Scratch.
Yeah. Okay. Aside from that, just like you, I've started revisiting the previous Marvel movies.
Yeah.
You walked into my house today, and I was watching
Iron
the first Iron Man. I'm hopping around. I'm not watching it in chronological order. It's just that if I feel like watching this movie today, then I'll watch it.
Yeah.
The other day, I watched Captain America: Winter Soldier. And I texted in our little group chat that we have, and I said, damn, this movie is actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
It is. It's my favorite.
Even if it's
movie.
not a superhero movie, it's still a good movie.
See,
What do you mean it's
pl-
not a superhero?
It's a
movie?
No,
it's a the plot twist.
Yeah.
The reveal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean it's not a super. I mean, even if it wasn't a
Yeah.
superhero movie, if you took out all the superhero elements, it's still a good like
It's a
espionage
masterpiece.
twist movie. And like you, I got the feels when even up to the end of Winter Soldier, when Captain America is on the hospital bed, he opens up his eyes and he goes, "On your left." I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So they've had that line now back and forth for quite a while. So yeah, that's what I've been watching, and that is the show this week. What are we doing next week? A couple of us
John
have
Wick,
watched
yeah.
Brightburn,
Brightburn,
and John Wick is coming out next week. So we may do like a very quick like combined episode. Maybe have 2. Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right. So that's going to be it this week for the Wayang Crew podcast. This is Kev. I'd like to thank all my co-hosts for joining me this week. Del, Nikkei, Naz, and Afif. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.